was one, and Jenny Gould. And Jenny was a foundation member and vice president for 6 years and on the committee as well. Right, now, today's speaker is Graeme Williams, who has a passion for Tasmanian pictorial postcards. When he got to 50, he thought he had quite a few. Now his collection exceeds 8,000. So today he'll take us on a tour around Tasmania in 1914 or thereabouts with a selection of postcards from Stephen Spurling 3. And I ask Graeme to come forward.
The Spurling family was probably one of the great dynasties of photographers in Tasmania. I don't think there's anyone that's gone over 3 generations. There's very good ones in Hobart, but the Launceston ones were better. There's no question about that, no question. And the reason he was so good, because they took their photographs on a tripod. That's the reason why they're so clear and crisp. Even the camera today cannot do what a tripod can. So anyone who wants to do it, yeah, you need a tripod. So, and they started when they came out in the 1840s, 1820, in the late, they went to Hobart, then he saw the light and came north. They would Fingal for a while, and then eventually in Launceston, and they had the shop in Brisbane Street. Who's old enough to remember Spurling's in Brisbane Street? Where Kodak were? Remember Kodak? In there. What? So that's where they started. So today we're going to go on what I'll call a bit of a mystery tour, because we don't know where we're going to go yet, because it's a mystery tour around Tasmania. So we know where we're going to start, but where we're going to finish. And we got applications from 3 people to go on the tour today. I asked for applications. The people that have responded is John Dent. He's on the tour. Marion Sargent responded to be on the tour also, and Gus Green. So there's our people that are travelling around with us today in our tour around Tasmania. So there's the Trevellyn, the tram of Trevellyn. Who can remember the tram of Trevellyn? Yep. Now, if you look carefully, there, that's John Dent getting on the tram there. That's him there. See? That's him there. That's John Dent getting on the tram. So he's catching the tram down into Launceston, you see? So the first thing that John wanted, he needed a few more pills to go on the trip. So he's gone to the chemist, and that was the new one, and that's, I believe, that was on the corner of Charles and Brisbane Street. Who remember that one? Terrific. Hey, you've all bought your pills, haven't you? Yep. So that's where John got his pills. Yeah, just a few pills. So then we went, while we're there. That's okay. While we're in the town there, we popped around to see the King motorcycle shop. Now this was the bike that went from Hobart to Launceston, from Launceston to Hobart in 2 hours 55 minutes. It broke the record by 2 hours. So he bought that specially for us on the tour. So there he bought that bike out specially that morning to show us on the tour. So that's where we went there. That's what it's all about. All these postcards I'm showing today are Spurling. They're all numbered, they're on the back, and some are advertising, and some are just ones you can buy. But some of these, the businesses would have bought them themselves to write to other people. So that's the bike there. So the other thing that Marion said, we need to buy a few bits and pieces to give us gifts on the way around. So we had to go into Blundell's, and that's... who can recognise where that is? Yep, where? Yeah, where Holland's house is today, that's right. That's where Holland's house is today. I didn't know you were that old. Fancy saying that. Oh, sorry. So that was there, and you can buy everything there. Buy bits of everything there. So we bought a few goods to give away on the day. And finally, that's the tram that Gus and Marion caught to come in. They'll come in from Euston. Yeah, they live at Euston. Yeah, wealthy people. Yeah, wealthy people come in from there, and they caught the tram. So we're up and running. And Gus brought with him a postcard from Tom Treloggan of St Helens, who said he'd look after us at St Helens when we got there. So we've got somebody who's going to look after us on the way around. So off we went and running, and the first place we pulled on was the Windermere Church. Yeah, and John wanted to find his uncle there, but he was dead when we got there, so he's dead, he's gone. He's buried, dead and buried. So we saw John's uncle there for a very short period of time. And next we went down, we caught a bit of spraying. Look at that. Now, if you look very carefully, that person there, that's Rod Oliver. That's it. See there? That's young Rod Oliver there. And that's why he got into agriculture, because he got down there spraying at that time. That's Rod Oliver there. So no trouble with the OHS those days, was there? No problem at all. No problem at all with the OHS. So as we went down the Tamar, we saw the Lowhead Lighthouse, and when we got there, Gus wanted to blow the foghorn, so he got to blow the foghorn, down at the down there. Very big on blowing the foghorns, Gus. Anyway, there's the lighthouse, and while we're down there, we saw the Loongarner leaving for Melbourne. Now, I'm told in the many postcards that they didn't travel too well on the Loongarner, and from the records showed that not many people had the lamb's fry and bacon for breakfast. Yeah.
Marion Stamp is on there too. Like Marion.
Yeah.
The
Yep. Oh yes, the stamp. Oh yep, the stamp. The Lake Marion. There it is, the Lake Marion stamp. What about that? So then we swung. So then we swung around, and we travelled down to the Brid River. Doesn't it look big? That big Brid River you go over, eh? And Spurling, what I call, these are the Spurling bright postcards. The sky's bright, the water's bright, everything's bright. And whenever he did a new publication, the clouds were changed. So what you see, they digitally hand postcards in 1914. They changed the there. So we enjoyed having a look around there, and then we headed off to Scottsdale, and there's our car there. That's our car there. That's our car we're travelling in on the road to Scottsdale. So what about that? So one for the horse and draft, and so we drove into Scottsdale there. That's us in the car, and so what about that? Isn't that a lovely scene? Magnificent, isn't it? Just magnificent. So from there we drove through Scottsdale, and there's the main street. That's the post. Oh, back. Sorry, we got excited there. I do get excited sometimes. Right. So there's the post office there. That's what's up for sale currently. So anyone wants to buy it, now's your chance. All right. That's available today. So while we're there, we posted a few postcards too. I mean, we put a couple of postcards in the mail straight away. You've got to write postcards on day one, don't you? No good waiting till you finish, you see. So there we put some postcards. So that was it was a busy day there. There was 3 people there. So yeah, busy day in the town. Anyway, that's the main street. Hasn't changed much. So as we left Scottsdale, we who can remember apple picking at Scottsdale? Look at those apples. Hey? At Hazelmere's orchard. So there's them, and Gus took a couple for free. He's a bugger like that. But we got a few free ones there, didn't we? So that was a great to see that orchard. What a magnificent picture for our records we got there. And from there we headed off to. We'll get there eventually. To Branksome. And for those who've been there, that's the Imperial Hotel. And the shop across the road there, that was Rapley's, wasn't it? Yeah. Rapley's, yeah. So that's Branksome today. So, and you can see that was obviously the colour there is, the houses probably weren't all red. That's been hand painted, you see. But that's what we did. That's what we did in those days. And in those days, those early postcards, they were printed in Germany, right? And during the First World War, because that's why I started in 1994, you get some postcards where the word Germany's been torn off the back of it. So people didn't want to be associated with Germany during the war. And later they were printed in Prussia. That's what they were there. So, not Russia, Prussia. I know, somewhere near there anyway. But so that's a lovely one of Branksome today, isn't it? It's a lovely one of Branksome there. So So then we left there and we'll get the events here. Yeah, up too much. Yeah. And there's Derby. That's before the 29 flood. So you see the oval as you're driving in. And the racetrack, you've raced there, have you? Yeah, but these are all around the 1914-15 time. It's in this bracket of time. Some are before that, but up to about 1920. This range of time. Yep. There's different ones, but you can tell by the date on the back. That's in that time frame. Yep. I know. These are all definite. All 1914. These are definite. So isn't that a magnificent scene there? That's a racetrack. Football. They played football there. Horse racing as well, but look at the town, all there. So that's different 15 years later after the flood. So we went there, had a look around there, and we needed a few John wanted some tobacco, so I had to go there to Morecambe's store to get some tobacco for him. He said, I've run out of tobacco, so I had to go there at the local general store. Now, this would have been a postcard which, whilst it's numbered in the series, they would have probably paid us to produce those, you see? And they would have bought most of them as a bulk lot there. So after we left the store there, we then went to...
Graeme, I think that's almost the property that was sold to that buyer in the last 3 weeks.
No, I don't think so. No. Bit further along. Yeah. Right. So after John goes tobacco, come on, you little feathered friend. Yep. We had a look at the Bryce's mine. Look at the Bryce's mine there. How deep it was. Yeah. Look how the all down there as part of the Bryce's mine before the. We didn't know then what was going to happen in 15 years' time in 1929. That's what was there in 1914 when we drove through. Yeah. That's how massive it was, isn't it? Just huge. So that's the Bryce's mine. So then we went to the Crawfords Hotel, and look at the welcome we got. All the people out the front welcomed us there. They all there to welcome us. So we decided to stay the night. So we had the night. We had the night at the Federal Hotel there, and both John and Gus had many bogues ales in that night, and Marion had to sit in the ladies' lounge having a small sherry. That's it. It's the small sherry. Not too much. You get excited. She'll start to sing sometimes. Anyway, so we had the night there. So after that, we got underway and come on. Yeah, and that's at Anson's Bay. Now, what's particular about this particular postcard? Apart from the top part where that's the original postcard. Then this business has had their advertising sign put on the bottom. And so even in 1914, they had the accommodation house at Anson's Bay then. What about that? Yeah. You could have stayed there for a week. Isn't that lovely? Hey? About the 19... They're all around this period, about 1914. They're all in that range, give or take. Anyway, good enough for us, ain't it? Good enough. Anyway,
Just going back to that one of the Derby with the oval. There was a dam there. Is that the dam?
Yeah. I've got a granddaughter of the person who took over here. That's my wife. She knows that. Yeah. So after we left Anson's Bay, we come to Lotta and the Blue Tier. What about that? And why I'd like to mention that, because that store there, that's the one there, that was a branch store of Alfred Williams, my great-grandfather, as a branch store for St Helens. That was in Lotta. What a magnificent area that. And then to add to that one, we go to the... And that's the Anchor Tin Mine. There's the crushing plant there. Now, that particular crushing plant was driven by water, so if there's no rain for a while, there's no power to drive the crushing That affected the output from the mines there. So after we left Lotta, and the road wasn't too good then, of course, wasn't too good. We come to St Helens. You know, what a lovely blue sky. And this is where we met Tom Clark. And Tom said he'd look after being an ex-St Helens boy. He's living in St Helens, so he's there. And that shop there, that was the original store for Alfred Williams, which later become Williams Brothers. And that's the road, that's the main street to St Mary's. And that road there went to Bidalong Bay, on the corner there. All right? For those who've been to St Helens, yeah. So that's where we went there. And so Tom took us around and talks about, that's the Golden Fleece Bridge, and that's over Jason's Gates. For those who know history, yeah, you know history, don't you, Gus? You were born then, weren't you? You know, so that's our car there again. I will put our car in the picture, add to the picture, and there's the timber being that was those days, even to the late 50s, early 60s, that was shipped to Hobart. That's how we got taken to Hobart, by the Lenna, the Amadokal and those boats. Yep. So that's us there having that, and we stayed at. So there's that one there, and the next one. Come on. The same negative, but used as an advertising for the business, you see? Exactly the same negative. And excellent accommodation. So we stayed there, because we were sold on the postcard, we stayed there for the night, right? And they got all sorts of things, oil launches, everything. And I've got a postcard that John wrote to his mother from there. And it says this, stayed here for the night, we had a pleasant evening, dancing, singing, and a crayfish supper. That's what John had, lovely supper. John, he enjoyed the crayfish supper. Eh? And Gus Green, he enjoys crayfish, I tell you. Anyway, so that's where we stayed for the night. And then after that, we left that, and there's Beauty Bay, where Tom took us swimming. We had to swim there. Beauty Bay, for those, that's about halfway between there and Parkside. You know, that's a lovely spot there. So, you know, I've even been there, but I didn't swim much, but I went there a fair bit. Anyway, that's the sandy area there. And so after we left there, we then went not too far. So we travelled down. And that's Diana's Basin. For those who, you know, as you go past there, used to be a great place for black swan. Yeah, a lot of black swan there in the early days. And the road's in pretty good nick, isn't it? In pretty good nick, isn't it? Eh? Pretty good nick that is. Anyway.
Diana.
What?
Who was Diana?
I do not know. I do not. I'm not a historian. I'm just here to tell stories. Yeah, I'm not here to tell you any history. No, I'm not. I can't be that good. No. Anyway, so we left there, and then we arrived at the Scamander Hotel. Now, this particular hotel, this was on the north side of the river, not the south side where the current hotel is. This is on the north side, right? And there you see all the fish they caught in one. You look at that, 11,246 fish. So we thought we'd stay there for the and have a look at it. So here's the launch. They used to take up the launch in the front. Used to then tow all the others up the river. See, they're all being towed up. Now this is again the original postcard with an add-on for Walker's Command Hotel. Right? Now if you look very carefully, that lady in the back with the hat on, that's Marion. Yeah, if you look very carefully, that's Marion in the back there. So anyway, so we had a nice time there fishing. Come on. Hey, so there's the St Mary's Pass. Hey, hadn't changed much. We had to stop for a while because the car boiled. Yeah. Had to stop for a little while. Anyway, that's just having a bit of a breather there. Yeah, so having a bit of a breather there. So then we got to St Mary's. Now we're not quite sure who that man in the very flash coat is there with the hat on. What about that at St Mary's in 1910? Hey? He looks very grand, doesn't he? Hey? What about that? But there's some areas, the main street there's some areas. So we had a bit of a look around there. So then we wandered on and went down to we flew down through Swansea, down to Swansea, and that big store there, that's the Morris store, the one there. That's still there. That building still there today. Double-storey sandstone, I think sandstone building. So that's there today. So we went down there. We took our time to go down there. Then we had a look at the. Hasn't changed much. Yeah, that pavement hasn't changed much. I'll only show you one of those. There's not much excitement there, is there? Eh? Anyway, nice to take a photograph anyway. We took one for that. We took one for there. And from there we went on to Bellreeve. Now there's Bellreeve in those days. That was what it looked like when we arrived there in 1914. That's how it looked like, eh? Probably buy a block of land there then, wouldn't you? At that time, in Bellreeve. So from there we then wander across to Hobart, and there's Hobart. They want a clock just like ours. You know, they wanted one just like ours. So don't get excited about the clock. Exactly, that's why Hobart had a clock. Otherwise, they wouldn't have one if we didn't have one. So we went there, and that night we stayed at the Killalees Carlton Hotel for the night because they bought the postcards there, and both Gus and John enjoyed many cascades. Yeah, very cascade. So that's the hotel there. It was very, very nice establishment there. So after having a night there, we then went back into town, and there's the double-storey trams in Hobart. Isn't that a magnificent photograph, isn't it, of what was there? Yeah. So that we had a look at those, and then. And then we had looked, around the wharfs. The boats were there loading apples, around the thing there. That was early in the morning. So that was from there. And the sailing boats there, that's the sort of boats that used to sail to St Helens. That's the side of the Lenner. Those boats there, that's the size of the boat that used to go to St Helens. And other places. I mean, they used to sail from down the Hill and back to Hobart to bring apples and so forth. They didn't come by road in those days. Oh, no, I'm talking about these boats here. Oh, the other ones, yeah, overseas ones, yeah. So we had a look at those there for a while, and then we thought, well, we've got a bit of spare time, let's go to the cricket. So we went up to the cricket up there, which is now the TCA ground. So what about that? Look at all the people there. Yeah? Oh, but we had reserved seats, so it's all right. Gus knew someone who knew someone. That sounds right, doesn't it? Hey? Yeah. So that was good. Gus looked after us there. We had a nice time there. So we only stayed there till lunchtime because we were busy in the afternoon because we went to the Hobart Cup. Very busy time. And fortunately, John knew some people there. So John got us tickets into the Hobart Cup. And the good news in for the day that Marion won 10 shillings. Yep. So we wasn't not a bad crowd for we had a nice day there at the Cup, you see, at the Hobart Cup. So then we went up to we thought, well, where can we go tonight? So we went up to the Springs Hotel for a night up there, up on the mountain. So that's where we stayed the night up there. Very enjoyable. We had a very enjoyable evening up there, and the lovely food up there for the night. So we had a nice night up there at the Springs Hotel, you see. After that, then we thought, well, let's go down the hill, and there's another packing shed at Ranelagh. Ranelagh is just outside Huonville. It's a wee bit round the corner. Great apple picking area there. So and Gus got a few more free apples, I guess he normally does. But anyway, so there's the apple picking there. So after we left there, we thought we needed to get moving north, and that's a different style of postcard made like a photo frame around it. And there's a a lot of boats went up and down, passenger boats, up and down the river from Hobart to New Norfolk. So we saw the boat going. We saw that boat going up on the day, so it was very good. And then we went further and went up to hop picking up at Glenora, which is up past New Norfolk, up around there. And one thing you notice, most of them appear to be women doing that part of the crop there. So that's a terrific photograph, isn't it? Yeah, amazing, isn't it? All the colour and again, lovely blue sky, more blue sky. So we left there and headed up the west coast, and we got to Queenstown. So there's a Queenstown, and all the mine. That's not mist, that isn't. That's smoke. That's smoke, that is. So there's the town and the railway line and coming in there, and then because Gus knew the general manager of the mine, we stayed at the mine manager's office there. So we got. There's the mine manager. That's what they couldn't go any further. That's our heritage listed building there. That building there, bed and breakfast. So we stayed there. But thanks for that, Gus. Thanks for looking after us. Good. So after that, we had the night there, and then we moved on to the Strawn, and there's the railway line coming in. There's the railway line coming into Strawn, right? It's a very old buildings of Strawn. There's some magnificent buildings down there, very old ones. So we went down there, and then we went on to Zeehan, to the smelting works. And then after that, we thought, well, let's get a bit of adventure. And we caught the train, because it was only a train into Magnet. Very narrow gauge, about 2'6", very narrow gauge train. So we caught that little train in. That's only way to get in there. So there, eh? So that's yep. And there's the mine at Magnet. Look at the size of the place. That's how big it was. Very good mine. Very, very high quality mine from all the records. So, Magnet. It's west of Zeehan, northwest of Zeehan, in from Rosebery. It's in west of Rosebery. It's in that area. If you look on the area somewhere, there's no road there now. I can't take you now. I cannot take you there now. But it's worth having a look at. You can walk in. So after that, we then went to Waratah. Now, there's the Waratah Hotel there. Yeah, I've stayed there, had the one night there. So we stayed there, and there's the train line coming in around there. See the train line through there? Yeah. Yep. And then further there, and there's the mine. So that's the mine, what you'd see from the hotel. Down in the gully there, that's what you see there. That is the mine. That was the mine, all right? Now they talk about the lovely waterfall from the front room or something, Anyway, that was the Waratah. So that was magic there. And from there we went on to Smithton. We went to Mitton. Yeah, there's Smithton. Yeah, and the Duck River. So we popped into Smithton just have a look around there. It was a bit of a rough road, but we got there. We got there all right. And after that, we left and went to had a look at Stanley. For those who don't know, that's the nut. Yeah. So we had a look around there. So then we thought we were going pretty well. The car was going pretty well. So then we went down to we headed back there. There's a different picture, by Spurling from the road. A very good picture that of the Stanley and the Nut. And from there we headed along towards Burnie. And so there's the Nut in the background. There's our car. That's on the Bass Highway. That's the Bass Highway there. That's our car there. That's our car there on the Bass Highway. I reckon John's behind the corner somewhere. I can't see him there. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, so we had a look around there for a while. And then we came into Wynyard. Now, here's a different postcard, but just a wee bit of tinting. See, it's a pink tinting, not real. That's nothing real, but just a different way. So we had a look at Wynyard, and because, and the thing about Wynyard is that they had a ferry across the river, and Marion said, I want to go in the ferry. So we had to stop to take Marion across in the ferry. So she went across in that, she rowed across in that little boat there. See that's the boat. That's the ferry. That's the ferry. What about that, Marion, eh? What about that? So then we enjoyed seeing Marion in the ferry, of course. Anyway, so after that we then went through to Burnie, and of course that's before the pulp was built, it was built there originally around that area there. So there's Burnie, and you can see this train line coming through there. The train line swings around. There along there, see? That's the train then comes down further. So that was Burnie. We didn't stay long at Burnie. Kept moving. But the thing we saw at Burnie was loading all the produce. Look at all the mainly potatoes. What about all that? All them potatoes loaded by hand, and most of those used to go to the Sydney market. A lot of those went to the Sydney market from there. So what about that? So there's all the potatoes there, and from there we went down to Penguin. We whizzed through Penguin. Of course, we drove down the main street. Of course, we didn't go any bush tracks along that road there. That's one of Penguin, and from there we headed off into Ulverston. And you'll notice there the hotel there. That's Furness Hotel, still there today. That one there is Furness Hotel. Right? And that's been there since 1903. That's one bit of factual information I'll give you. There'll be no more. There'll be no more factual information I'll give you. All right? And from there we thought, well, let's have a look inland a bit. So we went up the Leven River to Guns Plain. So we had a bit of a look up there. Hey? What about that? It's a nice little one there. So we had a wander around there. We thought that's worthwhile looking at there. And from there we then swung around to Devonport, and again you see all the potatoes being loaded there. And of course, that's being loaded on the western side of the river. Whereas now all the ships are on the eastern side, right? Because you got the railway line came along there. See the railway line there, come along there, and it was all done on the what I call the western side of the town side of the thing there. So that was there. So we had it all right there. Then we swung around and thought, well, let's go down to Latrobe, and we stopped for a couple of beers at Mackey's Royal Hotel. Gus said, I've got to stop there. He said, I know that man, so I better go up in there. He's a bugger that right sometimes. Anyway, he enjoyed a few cool drinks there. Anyway, we left there, went inland a bit, and here's Kendalia at Rowton. And there's ice on the road. That's ice on the road there. And they were a lime works. Now, if you look very carefully, there's Marion. And there's John. And that could be Gus. It could be. It could be. Anyway. Gus said, I've got some relations up this way. So I said, oh, well, we'll keep going up round and round here. And there's some of Gus's relations. Yeah. So that's a settler's first home in Tasmania. No, that's not Gus. Anyway, so that we had a look at that, and then from then on we went down to Forth. A lovely, we had a very nice time there at Forth, and from then on to we'd run out of. We'd run out of tobacco, so we went to the cash, to Pike's cash store. Again, this was a postcard that was sold to them, a numbered one, but sold to the store with the advertising on there, and with all the staff out the front. Yeah, so it's historically a very good photograph, a very good postcard, very good indeed. And from there we thought, well, we've had a bit of a battle, so we thought we need a bit of a break. So we stopped at Deloraine, at the Deloraine Hotel. Yeah. Now, people and on it, that's Deloraine for St Mark's Church. And here's one of the hotel. I'll give you one of the hotel. And look at that one, eh? So, a popular tourist resort. People stayed there for a week at Deloraine. Eh? At Deloraine, a week. You know. So we stayed there for the night. We had a very nice night there. From there we went on to we saw some harvesting nearby at Glenore. Look at the height of that. Look at the height of that haystack, eh?
That's possibly my ancestors' threshing plant. They had a threshing contracts business in that area. So
That one, yeah, was it?
they're contracting the steam machine.
That one there.
Could very well have been.
That could well be John's grandfather driving it there. That could be John's grandfather. Yeah. Anyway.
Where's the resort?
Whitehall.
Yeah.
South of Whitehall.
Yeah. So very, very. So that's a magic card, isn't it? That's a magic postcard, isn't it? That one there. So then from then on, well, we wanted to do something a bit different. So we decided to go fishing up at the Great Lakes. So the only way we get in there is by horse. That's the first time Marion and John have been on a horse. So two of the Marion's up the back there, and that's John there. So they were on the horse there. We had to ride in to go fishing at Great Lake. Goodness gracious, fancy saying that. Anyway, so we had a lovely there, but we didn't catch any fish. So we thought, well, we better keep trying. So then we went on to Lake Sorrel nearby. So we stayed at the Lake Sorrel and we caught one fish. So, we did okay. We had a nice, we caught the one fish. So that was all right there. That was a nice little spot there at Lake Sorrel. Yep. From then on, we swung back into inland and we came into Ross. Now, this card's a little bit special because it mentioned Lord's Kitchener visit to Ross. Now, he came to Ross in 1910. He's known for a lot of other things apart from come to Ross. Some people might know. We won't go through, we don't have time today to go through all that. So this has been added on in a sort of a gold print on the postcard about to commemorate his visit to Ross, you see. So that's a lovely little postcard, isn't it, that one there. So there's Ross. So after we left Ross, we headed up to Campbelltown. There's Campbelltown, eh? Now look at that, the Campbelltown, the main street, it's still there today. So there's Campbelltown. So after we left Campbelltown, we thought, well, there's a couple of places we still haven't been to. So we went into Longford. Now that is the corner, that's still there now, the corner, that's that corner there. Yeah, isn't it? Opposite the big shop, opposite the other road there. So that's that one there, and that's the road to Creshy, I think. Yeah, got that?
Dangerous place, Longford. Dangerous place, Longford.
Yeah. You believe anything. So we went to Longford, and the other one while we were there, we popped into the RA Craw store, which we'd sold a postcard to. So there's it's called the Popular House at Longford, and apart from that, we've got a postcard which he used on the back of this postcard. He wrote this guy, "Dear sir, could you send me another case of apples on Saturday by Mr. Bye if he is not too loaded, and bring him yours." So they used the postcard as a business means of communication to order a case of apples. Have we? So that's there. So not only is it, I've got a good front on it, I've got a bit of history on the back as well. Yeah. So I think that's a lovely one. And on the back here, whilst it's a Spurling postcard, sometimes they issue them separately under the name of the person at the town. See the part there? But it's a Spurling postcard, all right? So that's a magic one there. So after that, we said, well, we need a bit of relaxation before we finish. Now, Gus is a member of the Launceston Golf Club, so he said, I can get you in there. He said, he'll take us in there. So we had 9 holes of golf. And if you look very carefully, with a lady on the hat there, that's Marion. That's Marion there, with the hat on there. Because Marion had to have the, there. So after that, we thought, well, we just had the 9 holes there because we're coming back into Launceston. And from there, we went up to the Duck Reach Power Station. That's what was in the Duck Reach Power Station. That's what used to be there. And the water came down. There's got your four inlets there, and that's your power station. That was a Duck Reach Power Station. 1908, Grant. 1908. That's when they built it, don't they? No, that's when that was taken. Yep, good. Thanks. I knew you were there at the time. He's got a good memory, hasn't he? He's got a good memory, this man. So after that, we said, oh, well, we're back into town. And as we came down the town, all the children from Charles Street School came out and clapped us as we came down the street. So as we drove down the street, all the kids came out and waved to us, and we had a trip around Tasmania, and finally we finished up in Charles Street, and we've done the tour of Tasmania with Spurling. I've got a couple. Anyone who's particularly interested in postcards, I've got a couple of folders, and if anyone wants to look at postcards to help them or pass on good ones or whatever they got at some stage, I'm happy to help you with those too, because I'm still looking for all cards.
George J. Cole's original store of Wilmot, I've got an original postcard of that.
Good.
When the building was first
Good.
With George J. Cole's.
Yep. Thank you.
Are there any questions?